Hey there, Columbus. It is Bess Nathan. I am so excited to highlight a local nonprofit this week. I am here with Bess Hagans, and she is with Thriving Beyond Breast Cancer, which is such a cool organization.
Thank you.
We were chatting a little bit before we started filming and everything, and could you just, again, introduce yourself, what is your role, and tell us a little bit more about the nonprofit.
Sure. Well, thank you for having me here today. I love sharing about our organization. So I'm one of the founders and the CEO of Thriving Beyond Breast Cancer. We launched in a little over a year ago. We really fully launched, but we exist because I actually am a breast cancer survivor myself. I'm currently 35, but when I was 32, I was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer with a 10-month-old. And it obviously disrupted my life quite a bit. And through the process of treatment and recovery, Thriving Beyond Breast Cancer was born. So just to give a quick background, I had 20 weeks of chemotherapy, 30 rounds of radiation, a double mastectomy, an oophorectomy, which is ovary removal, 2 years of a chemo pill, 3 reconstructive surgeries, and here I am today.
Wild.
So it was worth it,
Yeah,
I will say.
yeah.
And I really, of course, thank my team and of doctors, and also just my community and my family, because I had this idea of going through treatment, and everyone around me, they saw the need for Thriving Beyond Breast Cancer to exist. So my thought was, and our mission is that we serve women between the ages of 21 and 40 who have been diagnosed with breast cancer. If you haven't seen recent statistics, they show that young people, specifically under the age of 50, are getting cancer at unprecedented rates, and breast cancer is the highest statistic for cancer in women that are premenopausal. And the statistics are really scary because obviously as incidences rise, our society just doesn't really have anything in place. There's no structure or resources for these individuals. So when it does happen to someone, it really disrupts their life and everyone around them too. And so we exist because we want to provide emergency resources. So think mental health and financial, because in a moment of despair, those are kind of the two most important things for your survival.
Yes, yeah.
And then after the fact, you can move on. So our two main programs as of now are financial stipends. So if you qualify, and almost everyone does, because our income limit is 500% of poverty level.
Okay.
Because we know that the majority of people who are getting cancer, if you are above poverty level, it doesn't actually mean that you're much better off than somebody who is at poverty level, because you probably don't own your home right out or your car. You might have student loans. You may or may not have a 401k, children, all of the things that life demands. And so a diagnosis like this can derail your life. And so a check for $1,000 might be the difference between keeping food on the table or not, or even, paying your mortgage. So that's one of our really, really big programs, and I'm excited to share that in only 1 year, we've given out 51,000 stipends, $1,000 stipends to people in 13 states. We have a really great partnership though here in Columbus with OSU and Ohio Health. So we partner with them on different, initiatives, just making sure that their patients know we exist. And we also provide free mental health resources. And if anyone here is watching today, that you can find our stuff at thrivingbeyondbreastcancer.org. I know you have some other questions, but that's kind of our spiel.
No, I mean, amazing. Can you, I just feel like I have personally had people in my life go through it, and you don't really understand the impact that it does have on that individual or those surrounding, like you said, until you can see it firsthand. And it's sad, but I feel like more so now than ever, you see it more often. So like the ability to have a resource, and especially, you know, even if like you're not directly affected by breast cancer, if you know somebody, this is just such an amazing nonprofit that you can provide those resources to families and friends who can then provide it to the patient that's going through
Absolutely,
everything.
yeah.
So
and discreetly too. Like
yes.
it's anonymous,
Oh, that's
so nobody
great.
has
Okay.
to. You know, we don't ask that people submit testimonials or anything. Like, just take care of yourself.
That's amazing. And you mentioned, I mean, obviously based here in Columbus, but you mentioned that you have handed out funds to over 13 states, so you're nationwide.
We are, yes.
Okay, so how does that go? Like, how are you, I mean, you've only been here for a year, and you've already done so much. What are some, you know, hurdles that maybe that you've started to see that maybe somebody watching could help out so that you can make sure that you can impact more lives?
Absolutely. So, you know, really it's a lot of word of mouth, and I would argue to say that a lot of people watching probably are going to know somebody that is young that is being diagnosed with breast cancer. Unfortunately, like I said, the statistics are there, they're rising every day. The media is starting to pick that up. I'm sure that you've seen in, you know, publications like the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal, or even like the Kelly Clarkson show. This has been a topic of discussion the last couple of months because it is just alarming and nobody knows why it's happening. The funding for research is just currently not really there, and the research that we do have doesn't really have a huge cohort. And so there's not too much to compare what's going on right now to, you know, where we're headed or what's happened before us. And so really it's about, you know, making sure that the people who are experiencing this are feeling taken care of, because we're all scared. Nobody knows why I got cancer instead of, you know, one of my friends, but it did happen to me. It could happen to anybody. And you know, another huge part of this is knowing that the resource exists and sharing that with folks, but then also understanding how much power that you have. So, you know, every month someone should do a self-breast exam. Men get breast cancer, by the way. It does not happen as often, but it happens. And you should be touching your breast tissue every single month. I encourage daily, but you know, just in the shower, if it's, I don't know, a time that you might remember, do it for yourself, because I didn't, and no one told me to. And so by the time I felt my tumor, it was the size of a peach. And I didn't know any better. And so I think it's so important to share that you actually can save yourself. If you're feeling your own tissue, if you feel something, get it checked out. If a doctor ignores you, go to another doctor. Stay persistent. You're the only person who can save yourself when you're this young, because we're not getting mammograms every year like somebody who is, you know, 45 or older, or somebody who has breast cancer in their family. So, and what they're finding now too is with these incidences, they're not genetic. So it's important for everybody to know their bodies, to educate those around them if they're not, and just encourage people to really, you know, think about your health in a holistic way, and it doesn't have to be silly or weird. Just get to know yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, it's little tidbits like that, like you said, can save a life. So that is, I mean, amazing that you are starting to push out more awareness around things that may have been taboo in the past, or, you know, and one thing that you just mentioned, which I kind of came to me as a shock, like, it's not genetic. Like, these are just, it's just popping up. So like, that is something too, like, you know, we do have a lot to worry about day to day in our life, but like, these are things that you can do on a daily basis that can potentially save your life down the road. And
in addition, you know, there's always lifestyle factors, and I've talked to several oncologists, and you know, they all say that, of course I didn't cause this, you know, it could be environment. I mean, we don't know. We just don't know, so I'm not going to pretend to know. But there are some things that you can do to try to avoid getting cancer. One of them is, you know, having really good sleep hygiene and getting enough sleep, and of course eating healthy, drinking water, and exercising. But just like do things in moderation, you know? So if you do like to, you know, like have fun and go out and do things with your friends, like still do it, but just like do it in moderation, you know? And other than that, I mean, if you're living a healthy lifestyle, that's all you can really do, and just look out for yourself.
Right, well, and then even once, you know, potentially you get the diagnosis, continue to try to live that healthy lifestyle with that mental advocacy that like you, So you mentioned that a lot of people hearing about you is just word of mouth right now. I know that you guys have like a lot of great events that you do as well. I was looking at your website and seeing some things that you have. Do you have things weekly or like support groups, or what is there out there for people who are just now learning about your organization?
Sure. So if you are a patient, we do have free support groups.
Okay.
So they're virtual, and they're the third Thursday of every month.
Okay.
In the evening at 8 p.m. because we want to make sure that you can get through dinner or like whatever you have going on in the evening. But really, these support groups are going to be tailored to very niche, specific topics that young women deal with. So think menopause at a young age, because we're all catapulted into menopause overnight. So, and instead of 20 years, or infertility, or sexual dysfunction, you know, maybe you have already had a double mastectomy and you're single, so navigating dating. So each of our support groups are, you know, they're really gonna be specific and niche topics where we're able to, like, you know, give some helpful information and have people in those groups that, you know, can help each other and they're experiencing the same thing, instead of it just being like a survivorship support group for literally everyone who's going through something different, and then no one really particularly feels seen in that environment. So that's what we're doing, and all of that information, it can be found online at our website, and then also our Instagram, which is also Thriving Beyond Breast Cancer. So trying to keep that easy, but we welcome anybody truly to those support groups, even if you're not quite in the age group. Anyone is welcome.
Perfect, and we'll make sure to link everything so that people, if you're watching and you want to see some more information, obviously we'll have all of that below so that they can check that out too. You mentioned, you know, you have your monthly events, support groups, things like that for people who are part of your nonprofit. If there's somebody out there that needs resources right now, how do they, I'm sure they go onto your website, but like, what does that process look like for somebody who maybe just found out that they have breast cancer and they're not sure where to go or what to do?
Sure, so that's a great question. I think starting with the free resource of the support group is a great way to go about it. But if you're also needing some financial support, we've tried to make the application process as smooth and easy as possible. So you just, again, thrivingbeyondbreastcancer.org, just follow the link to the application page and fill that out to the best of your ability. And if you have been diagnosed with cancer, any stage, say 0 through 4, and like I said, 500% of poverty, which means the majority of people can probably apply, then please do it. And we also don't like compare struggles. So if you are approved, if you meet the qualifications, you are then put on a waiting list. And when we get the funding, then the person gets the money. So if you qualify, you will get the payout. But of course that requires funding, that requires donors. We don't want to have to turn anyone away who needs our help. And so, you know, that kind of goes hand in hand, and I hope that we're able to help everyone. Unfortunately, that's not the case, but you know, hopefully with time.
So in order to help more people, so for those who maybe are not affected directly with breast cancer, how could somebody help out with your organization, or what are things that, like some outreach that you really need help with currently?
So sharing anything about us is always so helpful. and it goes much further than you would ever imagine. But also, you know, we have volunteer opportunities. We have in-person events. We have one that's coming up in April here in Columbus, Ohio, a gala at the View, and it's open to the public. It's a great way to both network, get involved in our community, and just have a really good time.
It sounds like it's going to be so
Yes,
cool too.
I'm so excited to have you this year.
Yes.
And you know, honestly, there's so many different ways to like donate or get involved. We also have a shop. It's called thethrivingshop.com.
Okay.
And there you can find items to both purchase for somebody in your life that has cancer, or even for yourself. It's a lot of like uplifting self-care type
Beautiful.
things. We also have a lot of cancer care specific items.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a great place to go because 100% of the proceeds go right back into Thriving Beyond Breast Cancer.
Amazing.
So it's just a fun way to also kind of get something in return for your donation.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are seriously just such a valued organization, and it's just been amazing to be able to have a moment to just learn a little bit more about everything that you provide. You know, in closing, you mentioned that there's volunteer opportunities. I know that there is also the ability to just go online and donate.
Yes.
If that is something that, you know, maybe you want to help out, but you're not in Columbus or what have you. So it looks like it's pretty easy.
Very easy.
Yep.
We could take any form of payment, literally any form. So
Yes.
You'll find it there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we appreciate every cent, truly. Like, we could not do this without our community and the support of folks like you and everyone who wants to help genuinely. So it's great.
That. Yeah, well, I know I'm super excited to, you know, a portion of my closings that I have in March, I'm going to donate
so
to
wonderful.
the organization. I'm super excited about the gala as well.
You guys are so generous, thank you.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just, I appreciate when there are good people in the community building up the community. And
Yeah.
I just love highlighting those individuals, those organizations, and Columbus would not be as amazing as it is without individuals like you and nonprofits that, that you have. So it's just been amazing. Thank you so much for coming in today and sitting down, explaining. Is there anything else that you want to, you know, let the viewers know before we go?
Just make sure that you touch your breasts.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
That's
just touch
simple.
your breasts.
Honestly,
get to know them. If you're
right?
curious about if something feels right, ask your doctor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
that's my closing note.
Well, beautiful. I love it. Well, thank you so much, Bess. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I look forward to continuing to support you guys.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see you soon.
Yay.